think this going to be the last episode of season 2?
Yep, because right now our first season was from the moment we met each other up until this point.
And
then,
it's continuing as we continue to add new things.
And we'll talk about it as we go. And then
season 2 has been our childhood all the way up until where season 1 began.
Yeah.
So we're kind of filming it out of order, almost like Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Like Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Exactly. They had a good formula because it worked. So the first 3 episodes were in the middle of the story. That's our first season. And then they went back and told the original story. And that's what we've done. And then season 3 will be, who knows?
Who knows? Actually, I do know.
I do too.
Did you? Are you proud of me?
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Are you so proud of me?
Every day.
Okay, so I do have. I do know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about all of our theories.
Oh, that's season
of
3.
Life in season 3.
Let's talk about
today's episode is going to be talking about me in my high school years. Because I think we talked about Michael and his, and then also his mission. So we haven't really talked a lot about
And we've touched on yours. We've talked about your jobs that you had. We talked about your boyfriends that you had, plays that you were in.
I don't know if we really talked much about that, though.
We definitely did. Oh, yeah.
Ta-da!
Ah! You found it!
So in the last episode, we were talking about Michael's mission and about... and about how he always, even now, if he can get away with it, goes out in the middle of winter wearing shorts and flip-flops and like not a winter-approved clothes. Like if he can get away with it, he will just do that
hilarious.
Any day. And I found that. And I was like, hey, I found the picture.
Oh my goodness. I still have those shorts. They're in my closet right now.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Those are some good shorts.
Are those the board shorts from the first date?
No.
Oh, okay.
Those ones are gone now.
Oh.
They lasted a very long time, though.
Yeah. Okay, and now so if you're listening to the podcast, this is where you might want to watch it on YouTube, just because we do have some pictures. We talked about a picture in the last podcast that Michael said I couldn't find, and I did just find it, where Michael was out in the front yard where it was completely snowy and using a broom to sweep up the sidewalk with sandals and shorts. So
okay.
I also have all of my little cards from my high school. Like, what are these called? I can't even remember.
Student IDs?
Yeah, student ID cards. For some reason, I saved them, and so I have a whole bunch that I'm going to show to you right now. So if you want to watch this on YouTube, this is the right time to watch it on YouTube.
I'll try to get them sorted based on what year. Oh my goodness, some of these are hilarious.
I know.
Get out of here.
He's pushing my hand out of the way. Oh man, it's
this
too
is great.
much fun. So, and this was my first 7th grade. This is the grade I actually ended up dropping out halfway through because I was not doing very well. I just struggled, and I missed 2 weeks of school because I was sick. And so this is the age I was and how I looked at that time. I remember thinking this shirt is going to be so cool. And what was really cool about dropping out of middle school was I didn't have to go to middle school. Middle school was horrible where I went. And I know a lot of people talk about middle school as not being very good, but for me it especially was really not fun.
Let's see the next one.
And I ended up taking a test at the end of the year and just passing, and I didn't even do any work. So that goes to show how much I needed to be there at that time. I was smart. I didn't even need to be there. Okay, so here is... This is the year after... Wait, did I go to... No, I think I actually dropped out of... No, I dropped out in 8th grade. Sorry, that was 7th grade. I went to the whole 7th grade year. I dropped out of school in 8th grade. And so this is right before I dropped out. So I got that mixed up. But that's so weird. I'm starting to get old and forgetting things like that. So I have two school IDs because the first one with the buns in my hair, I was like, I just want to do the hairstyle that I like. And I knew my mom wouldn't approve. So on picture day, I slipped out of the house in the morning, went over to my friend's house, and we did my hair in buns. And I wore that shirt. My mom hated the shirt, and she hated my hair enough that when the pictures came back, she said, "What did you do? You are retaking your pictures." And I was like, "Mom, I don't want to retake my pictures." And she dressed me up in, no joke, her clothes. She made me wear like that blouse and the black thing over it, which was not in style at the time. And I was very mad. And she's like, "You have to wear your hair straight. It's so beautiful straight." And I was like,
You can see a difference in your smile. In the one with your buns, you're like,
I was like happy.
In the one where your mom dressed you, you're like,
yeah.
That's so funny.
So, sorry, it was 8th grade and I really struggled. Ended up just going to homeschool and I loved it. And it got me desperate enough for high school to like want to learn, because I just didn't learn anything that 6 months and I loved it. Okay, so fast forward to what? How am I missing one?
Not very good at keeping records, I guess.
Oh yeah, I remember what I looked like in the last. So I guess I'm missing my 9th grade picture, but here's my 10th grade picture. So this is when I turned 16.
Oh, it's so blurry.
Yeah, it is. I turned 16 like right after those pictures were taken, because my birthday is at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the school year. And let's see. So I'm going to talk about my freshman year. So my freshman year, I was very nervous. I was so scared that, because Ryan was really small and he was just right above me. He was 3 years ahead of me in school. So, but he was very short, and he said he got teased a little bit, and he told me about that. So I was like so paranoid.
Did he tell you about the time you got a swirly?
He told me about that, but that was in elementary school. No, he told me that they stuck him in a trash can. And I was like, I don't want to be stuck in a trash can. But here's the thing. Ryan isn't necessarily a fighter. He's a lover. He's just sweet to everybody and always nice. And he's such like a peacemaker. And like, I am not. I mean, I can be a peacemaker, and I can be very sweet and nice, but my natural instinct is to be a fighter, to defend myself or to defend people around me. Like if I see injustice happening, I say something about it. I can't even help myself. So anyways, I didn't have any problem when I got to high school. And I think it was just so scary. At first, it was just so scary just because it was new. But then shortly after being there for a little while, I realized that boys thought I was cute. A lot of boys thought I was cute, and I could get away with a lot of things.
I love how your maniacal laughter, boys liked me, so I could do anything I want.
No, it's not maniacal. I just never have said it out loud before. So it's uncomfortable to say.
These poor, helpless saps. In the palm of your hand.
I wasn't like getting away with murder or anything. I just was like not.
Oh, I've heard the stories.
I wasn't like worried about people teasing me, or I wasn't worried about like, I don't know, being taken advantage of or stuff like that. Like I stood up for myself and I had a good time, and I knew that boys thought I was cute, so they were nice to me because of that. One boy was too nice to me one day when I wore it wasn't a short skirt, but it was a skirt, and it was this really cute outfit. I wonder if I have a picture of it somewhere. Anyways, I really thought this outfit was so cute, and when I wore it to school, it was a senior and I was a freshman, and he was like super flirty with me and just like sitting too close and talking too sweet, and it just made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't wear that outfit as much after that because I was like, maybe that was too attractive. I don't know.
Hey, I understand. You wear outfits sometimes, and I just can't keep to myself. It's just way
this is
too
like
cute.
a weird. You know what? High school was all about boys. That's what. It was all about boys. I just like that's the most interesting thing about my high school.
And she had like the most desired boy in the whole school as her boyfriend.
That's true. I do.
So, because he was the most desired boy, it automatically made you the most desired girl.
I don't know if that's true.
It is true. You just don't even realize
I just think all the girls were jealous of me.
You're just humble. That's why you can't admit it.
Yeah, so that was my freshman year. And after being there for a few months, it was like, okay, I got this. I think I got this. Even though it was really, really hard. Just like, I think as I was growing up, and I don't know who else has issues like this, but I seriously had some issues when it came to just being around people all day. Like, I think I had social anxiety and I didn't know it because it just took so much energy out of me to be around people. And I handled it well when I was around other people, and I always have been able to. But like when I get home, I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. I feel safe. I feel loved. I feel like, it feels so much more comfortable. And so at the end of every single day, almost, I would just be like, Mom, can I come talk to you? And I would go and cry at her feet and just like rub her feet because she was like, okay, you can stay up later than all the other kids if you rub my feet. And I was like, anything, I need to talk to you. So my dad would just put up with it because he was really tired. But my mom would be like, yeah, you can talk to me. And that's just such good memories. And I would go in and tell her everything that happened during the day and all the rude things that kids said or all the awesome compliments people, just all of it, everything. And then cry a lot. I cried a lot. And it makes me wonder how it's going to be with Ellie as she's growing up, like if she's going to be similar to that or if she's going to be tough or I don't know. But anyways, it was really amazing. I have a good mom, and I always have. And she's put up with me. It's so funny because once we got married, I stopped doing that. It was really literally once we got married. I went to college, and whenever I went home from college, I would like do the same thing with Mom. I would tell her about everything, and I would cry. And then we got married, and it just didn't feel right anymore. I didn't feel like I wanted to do that anymore to you. I don't think you could have handled it anyway. I mean, you could have handled it, but I didn't want to put you through that. And I think I was at an age where I could still feel my feelings without expressing them through tears, So anyways, so freshman year, I was scared to try anything new other than classes. I was very, very, very nervous about everything. Just like a nervous wreck all the time.
But here's the thing about Rebecca. On the inside, she might be freaking out. Yeah. But on the outside, you would never know.
It's true.
On the outside, you would think she had it all together. She was the most confident. No problems because what was on the inside and what was on the outside was varied. I think it's because you're just a really good actress. Because there's things like she tells me, oh my gosh, at this point in our marriage or at this point when we were dating, I was freaking out. And I'm like, I had no idea. Because she's just really good at keeping it together. And since I've started to learn what is her trigger that freaks her out. And I'll see her like perfectly happy. And I'm like, you're freaking out, aren't you? And she's like, yes, I am.
When is a recent time you can think of?
I don't know. But it's true.
It is true. He just described me to a T. And I don't know why I'm like that. I wish I could talk to a therapist. That's what I want. I want to know like what causes us to do those things and why we do those things. And like, I don't know if there's a way to fix those things.
All right, what's the next one here?
So freshman year I didn't do very much, but that's
you didn't have freshman year.
Oh, so you saw my sophomore year one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my sophomore year one, I was like, okay, I feel a little bit more confident. I want to like join a team or a club or something. So I was like, I think I'm going to join the esteem team. And the esteem team was like DARE. If you've ever heard of DARE, it's like the kids against drugs type stuff. And I was like, I'm going to join the DARE team. So I joined the DARE esteem team. And it was really fun. It wasn't very much work, and I didn't do very much in it, but every now and then we had little...
You were the leader of the esteem
team.
Was
like
the
2 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just was part of it. Me and my friend Aurora were both part of it for a very long time. And then I think she became the president of it, and then she left at one point, and then I became the president because we were in it for like the longest amount of time. But I remember it was really hard because whoever was like in charge of it, because a lot of the times they would assign a teacher that was already teaching another class to be like in charge of the clubs and stuff. And that was just like not a good idea because they were already so buried in having so much work to do that it ended up switching around our teachers a lot and like stressing them out. And sometimes they'd just be like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. So we were like, we want to do it, but we're just kids. We can't do it by ourselves. Yeah, anyways. What else?
All right, grade 11.
Wait, I can't remember.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. My sophomore year was also the year I tried out for Miss Mount Pleasant.
Oh.
Yeah, because I
don't
remember
think you talked about that.
Yeah. It was because it was before I met Clint and was dating Clint. Because I would have danced with Clint as my talent at Miss Mount Pleasant if I was dating him, but I wasn't. So I danced with my cousin Justin during my, and I was so, I wish I could have like filmed it. He filmed it. There is footage of it. And I asked him, I reached out to him a long time ago and said, hey, can I get that footage somewhere, sometime? And he's like, I'll see. And that's all I heard. I wish I could see it. Oh my goodness. Having home video of that would be like the funniest thing to watch ever. Because I was giggling through the whole thing. It was like I was totally flirting with Justin the whole way through. And it was very unprofessional. And I didn't know I was doing that until after we were done. And I watched it on camera. And then I was like, dang it, that's why I lost.
Because you're so unprofessional?
Yeah, well, it was definitely unprofessional. I was like,
that's true. You are unprofessional.
But I was trying
belching on our
really
podcast.
Hard. Oh, no, it's different. That's just natural and fun. And this is whatever we get to do. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
I guess you don't have any judges that are deciding if you're...
It was really scary. That was, at that point in my life, that was the scariest thing to date I had ever done. And it was like, so it was super... They had like judges, right? That had been like Miss Mount Pleasant or Miss Utah. Like there was big judges that were judging us to see if we were going to
I thought you said you didn't win first place because you were too young, so you could not win first place.
And that's correct. But I only found that out after.
So why did you even try out if it's impossible for you to win?
Well, I found it out after.
Why did they allow you to try out if you were too young to be able to win?
So there was 5 people that tried out. 3 of them were like a year or 2 younger than me and were supposed to be in a junior category. But there weren't enough people that in the town that tried out for it. So they all just were younger than me and just gonna be like they got.
So they allowed all the younger people to try out, even though they were too young to really even qualify anyway.
Yeah.
Just so that way there was some competition.
And then here I am, 16. Yes, here I am, 16, and trying out. And then the only other person that was trying out was 19.
And the
18
only one,
or 19.
The only one that
and she was in college. And
you were trying out against a college girl?
Yes.
Wow.
She was in college and she had done it before. Like she had tried out.
And she was also the only one old enough to actually qualify to win.
Yes. So it was me and her. I'm 16. She's like 19 and already experienced in like trying out for pageants and stuff. And she was really mean. And I just remember thinking, multiple times I remember thinking, why am I doing this? This is so rude. Like, why do we have to, like, there was just so many times where I was put down really far and like felt so sad because like the meaning of why you do pageants gets lost so quickly, because it really is a beauty contest, even though they'll also say it really is a scholarship contest where you're trying to earn a scholarship and you're trying to better the community. So like we had a platform, right? So like my platform was, I think my platform, I can't even remember. It was like, was it recycling? I was like, I don't know. I can't remember what my platform was. I must not have cared too much about it. But she had a different platform. I can't remember what hers was. And everybody else. So you have to come up with like an idea to better the community, right? That's your platform. And then you have to do interviews, and you have to have a business outfit for the interviews because they're super serious. I'm sorry. Okay. I know there were places I bet every single place takes it very seriously, but it's just like, I have to look at it with a grain of salt because I got hurt.
It was a sham.
And I didn't have a fighting chance, I felt like. But I did my best.
But they made you think that you did, so that you tried.
So I tried really hard. And I don't regret it because I feel like I learned so many good lessons from it. Number one being never do that again. Just like, you have to be a certain type of person. And I did not end up with people that I wanted to be like. At least the ones above me. And I hope they don't listen to this, but if they do, then I'm just being honest. Like, it hurt. Like, a lot of things that were said to me hurt. And the people below me, the girls that were below me, that were like the junior Miss Mount Pleasant, they were really sweet and very supportive, and I had so much fun with them. And I honestly missed the time that I spent with them way more than the time I was with the girl that was above me, because it hurt.
What are some examples of something she said to you?
Okay, so it was more of a like putting me in my place all the time. Like, you are not queen. You aren't queen. Like, that type of a thing. Like she had all the power in the world. But I was told, so there was this misunderstanding and it really upset me. But I was told that if the queen was not able to make it to any of the events that we were required to go to represent the town. So we would like dress up in our, this is after we did Miss Mount Pleasant and like went through, and I just realized I don't want anybody to look her up.
Don't worry about it. Say what you need to say.
We went through the whole town thing, and like we would have to go to all these events. And this was after we were like crowned in all of our, so I was first attendant, she was queen, then we had like the other just called attendants or whatever that were the junior ones. And one of the requirements that they said was, if the queen is not able to make it, it's the first attendant's job to bring everybody around and make sure you make it to the places on time and dress up in your designated outfits that matched. So we had like matching outfits, and we would have to wear our crown and matching outfits and sashes to each of these events. And it was like the first one, she was at college. The queen was at college, and I was like, hey, are you going to be able to make it? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay. So I called around to all of the younger ones, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be picking you up at this time. We're going to head over and do this, like, it was like a talent show at an elementary school or something, and we were going to be like special guests there or something. And we went there, and we were having a really good time, and then the queen showed up. Angry, like so livid, mad. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I was just like, what's up? And she's like, you are overstepping your bounds. How dare you? You are not the queen. This is not your responsibility. All this stuff. And I was just like, whoa, okay, fine. Like, and that's how I reacted on the outside, but on the inside, I was bawling, like, so upset. Because I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I need to let this go. It's been too long.
Are you friends with the queen on Facebook?
I don't know. If I was, I haven't seen any posts or anything like recently.
Okay.
Why?
No, I'm just
curious. It just hurt so bad. And from that point on, and that was like one of the very first events we were supposed to do. From that point on, I just kept my mouth shut the whole time and did whatever she said. And I just felt like it wasn't fun anymore. And the purpose for doing it wasn't really the real reason why everybody was doing it, you know? So I was like, so they say it under the guise of like a scholarship pageant or whatever. And I did get a scholarship, and it was a small one, but it was a good scholarship. I feel like we didn't really do much for the community. It was less than I thought it was going to be. It was more of a status thing, I think. And I think that upset me. And really, this is all like my problem. I don't want to put it like on her and be like, oh, she's such a horrible person. You know, like, I get it. You know, I get why she did what she did. I think she was really trying hard to be the best queen ever. And like, she had worked up to that for years. I hadn't. I just got into it that year. And so I kind of felt blindsided by just the way people were with it. Not expecting people to be mean. I was not expecting people to be mean. And people were mean. I feel like I talked too much about that because I'm really not that upset about it now. I think at the time it was very upsetting to me. Probably because that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, and I tried really hard to do my best, and I felt so like I had done such a bad job because I got chewed out. And I take it to heart when I get chewed out. It hurt, especially at that time. Like, it just hurts that I got chewed out because I'm always trying hard to do good things. I have good intentions. Anyways, so that year I also got my driver's license. Don't show my driver's, just the picture. Without all of those things. Is there anything that there is like sensitive information on that? I don't even know. Anyways, that was my first driver's license, and I was 16, just barely, when I got that. And I also started to date boys. So in my religion, we believe that actually, is it in my religion, or is it just it might be a per family thing, but we wanted to only start dating once we were like 16. And so the minute I turned 16, I was like, okay, who am I going on a date with? And I started dating a bunch of boys. But I did not settle on any boy in particular until I was in 11th grade, which is the picture that Michael just barely showed you. And at that point, did you say your girlfriend's name?
No.
Okay. At that point, I decided I wanted a boyfriend, and I had a friend who had a cute older brother, and I was like, I like him. He's really good. Like, he's a very nice person, very good person. And I had also made a goal that, like, I didn't want to hang out with people that I just didn't want to have like a bad influence on me. So I totally judged people, and this is just how it was. And judge me
when you're dating, you have to judge people.
But also friend-wise, I was like, I really want to have good. The
people that you surround yourself with,
you know.
You have to use righteous judgment to know if this person is someone you want to be around.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like. I had mistakes I made when I was younger in elementary school that I regretted. And so I was like, I really want to make good choices when it comes to friends so that I stay on a good path and like meet Michael in the future and have a good life. So he was really a good person. He still is, I think. I just don't really keep in contact with him. But I met him, and soon after we started dating, we were both in a play together, and he was the main character in the play, like the mainest character in the play, and I was just some like showgirl. I think it was called Crazy for You or something. And I was one of like the show hall girls that was dancing, like, I can't remember the song. I love you, a bushel and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do. Doodle-doodle-doo, doodle-doodle-doo, doodle-doodle-doo-doo-doo. That was my part. And and I had another friend who was the opposite gender male character to him that had to kiss him during the play, and she really liked him a lot. And she told me that she was jealous that I was his girlfriend because he was a good kisser, because they had to kiss during the play, and I had never kissed him, and I actually never did kiss him, which people might not believe, but Michael was my first kiss.
Yeah, you were dating him and you didn't even get to kiss him, but some other girl who was not dating him got to kiss him.
Yeah.
Weren't you ever with him like, hey, let's try out that part you got, you're practicing for the play, right?
Oh no, I was way too shy for that type of a thing. Like in that way, I was very shy and inexperienced. There's no way. You would have done that. 100% you would have done that. I was not going to do that. I think the most I ever did was kiss him on the cheek. And after the play was over, I was like even more attracted to him, and we just dated for that whole year. But he was a year older than me, so that was his senior year and my junior year that we dated each other the whole year. And then, as many people do, he left on his mission right out of high school, and so my senior year, here's a picture of me, my senior year, if you're watching on YouTube. So my senior year, he wasn't there anymore, and I was like, I am going to wait for this missionary because he is an awesome person, and I, just want to like be with him, and I know he's a good person. And we had talked about marriage like before. It was interesting though, because I remember a conversation that we had that really disappointed me at the time. It was like right before he left. So this was probably like September my senior year. So he left in like October my senior year. So he was out of school
2008.
In 2008.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2007.
2008 he left on his mission.
2008?
Oh, 2007.
2007, yeah. Okay. It was 2007.
Oh, you're right.
Because it changed to 2008. And that was the year I graduated. But, so 2007, in like September, so like a month before he left, he was like, I think that you should date other people while I'm gone. And I was like, what? I was so upset by that. I was like, really? I was like, he said, I think I want you to promise that you'll date other people while I'm gone, because I want to make sure like that it's right and not that we're just doing this because it's convenient or something like that. Because we had talked about like marriage, and maybe he didn't give me. No, he did give me a ring. He gave me a ring that said CTR on it, but it was like a really fancy metal CTR ring. And I took that as a promise ring, and I was like, I'm going to wear this forever, and I'm going to end up marrying you. And I still love that ring. It's really pretty, but never wear it. Anyways, I was really upset when he had that conversation with me, because I was like, that just means he doesn't, like, does that mean he doesn't want to marry me? I don't know. We were saying I love you to each other at that point. We still hadn't kissed, but we hung out pretty much every single day and went for walks with each other out in the countryside where he lived, and it was just really like a wholesome, good relationship. And I still to this day have nothing bad to say because it was a good experience. And I feel also like it's interesting looking retrospect. I feel like the choices that I made, the choices that he made, the choices that all the people around me made were all very good choices. And I just feel like it kept me from making bad choices, being around such good people all the time. And like, I still had, it wasn't like a perfect life or anything. Like I made mistakes and had good times and bad times, but like, I feel like it preserved me in helping me to, you know, just being around good people helped me to make good choices until I was able to finally meet Michael and then be like, time to get married.
I'm pretty sure I was the one who said it was time to get married.
That's true. So that is when at the end of the year, 2008, I graduated high school, and that was my very first student ID card for Snow College. And then...
And you were only at Snow College. When did you start Snow College? August?
Oh, wait. And then my senior year, I also did like president of the esteem team, and I was in youth city council, which was a really good thing. And I want my kids to be able to do youth city council too, as they get older. Where we did a lot of good things for the community. In fact, I feel like I did way more for the community being in youth city council than I ever did on Miss Mount Pleasant. Miss Mount Pleasant was a showy thing. And like youth city council was like a action thing, which I really liked. I just felt like helpful, you know? And I felt like I was making a change in the community, which was really, really good.
So when I met you in September, you were at Snow College and you'd only been there for like a month.
Yeah. Brand newbie to college.
Just barely graduated a few months before from high school. And I was ready to get married and you were not ready to get married.
I was not ready.
But I changed your mind.
Yeah.
So I think that sums it up, right?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
There was other things in between, but obviously I can't tell every story. If I remember things later, I'll tell them. But I feel like I don't want to get to that point where I'm like an old person that's repeating the same stories over and over and over again. So
exactly.
If you tell me I've said that before, just let me know.
Yeah,
I've said it
I hate
before.
saying the same stories over and over.
But if you have heard the stories before, just pretend like you haven't. Just kidding.
Or you could be like, stop. I already heard that story.
Nope.
No.
I already know this.
Don't.
Nope. No. Stop it. Stop. No.
Well, I'm excited for season 3, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to talk about more just theories and not just telling our stories.
Yeah, like I think this has been good. And mostly I feel like if this is too boring for you guys to listen to, that's fine by me. It's me making a record. You know, that's how I felt about vlogging when we were vlogging too. It was like I didn't really care what other people thought in a lot of ways because I was like, this is my family, this is my life. I'm making a journal. Mm-hmm. It's for me. But it also was for making money at the time. So this is different. Because I don't think it makes any money.
It doesn't. But it's still fun.
It is. I enjoy it.
And we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen and share feedback with us. I do think that in season 3 we should do some like Q&A stuff. Where we actually maybe even go live.
We haven't talked a lot about our families. And our experiences growing up like with them. I think we talked about everything but that.
We talked about ourselves mostly.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
Selfish.
I think that there may be some interesting topics that people want us to talk about.
It's hard to talk about our families because there's so many of them and everybody's got different opinions and like I don't want to offend anybody. So, yeah. Thanks for listening to Beach Theory today. And thank you everyone who's still here after 2 long seasons. Yeah. Of fun. And I feel like the next season, our puppy, she's going up in the road. Let's finish it up. All right. Next season is going to be really interesting because we're going to talk about all the things that we believe and like our opinions on everything. Where this has just been like a storytelling session, catching up with everything. It's going to be fun. Okay. I'm really excited for it. See you in the next season. All right. Bye guys.